So you're Jimmy, the head brewer?
I am Jimmy, the head brewer.
Okay, cool. What's your last name?
Seifrit, S-E-I-F-R-I-T, German.
German. Oh, a German brewing beer.
Yeah, I know, huh?
Never heard of such a
I
thing.
know, kind of crazy.
Okay, so Jim, when did you brew your first beer?
So, the first time professionally I brewed my...
Cut. Extra ruin the scene.
Hey guys, you know, if you want to get in the shot...
Take two.
And then Benny turns on the pump, right? Hey, thanks, Ben. What? Are you getting sprayed up there? Hey, can you hold on for a couple minutes? Dude, I'm cleaning. I know you are. Here, go get an interview in your office. You're fired.
So no respect for the head brewer, right?
Quit, dude. It's tough. So professionally, I brewed my first beer back in 1996 when I was working for the Shoots Brewery. The first beer back then was actually Mirror Pond Porter, Black Butte Porter. Black Butte was, back then we were making Black Butte Porter, Cascade Golden Ale, Obsidian Stout. Mirror Pond actually was not being brewed at that point.
Oh, really?
It was before Mirror Pond came out. The first design beer that I had brewed professionally was a beer called the Overbrook Nut Brown, and I brewed that back in 1997. And that was basically based off the first beer that influenced my craft beer lifestyle. And that would be Newcastle Nut Brown. So that was influenced by that. So that was my kind of version of a malty brown ale with all the characteristics of, you know, the nice toasted caramel notes with the biscuit notes in there also. The EKG Challenger. Remember the recipe like it was yesterday.
Yeah. You always remember your first, right?
Oh, I always remember my first.
Did you start out as a home brewer?
I did. I started off as a home brewer, so I was going to college in Vermont. So we were home brewing in Vermont, you know, and back then everything was bitters. Pale ale was kind of the crazy beer, because probably the second favorite beer back then was this beer called Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, and we were barely seeing on the East Coast back then, about 1991, 92.
I see. So did you like, or should I say, what did you think of your first home brew?
I thought it was horrible.
Really?
Absolutely horrible. You know, but then back then you just don't really know what you're doing.
What you're doing,
trying to figure it out. Like every home brewer, you start with extract. It tasted like a syrup cacophony that went awry. So it was interesting, but I did with some guys who knew what they were doing. You start learning how the little tricks.
Yeah.
Then one day you move that big jump where you go to all grain.
You know.
Well, and it's interesting too, because you know, with IPAs, IPAs are an easy style to make, but a really difficult style to make in the way of getting the complexity of hop flavor going through those beers. Like I said, I've always, for years, I've always felt like, you know, IPAs were kind of, you just took a whole bunch of hops, you hide all your defects, there was no way to have to worry about if you had DMS, diacetyl, any type of malt flavors there, the hops are going to hide it. What I love about IPAs too is, just because they're big and robust, you can also put complexity in them. And that's the IPAs that we try to build around, and what we try to go for is put complexity into our brands. And I can heavy hand our hops as easy as anybody else. You know, it's not that hard. Making it thought provoking, whatever. That's
right.
What we
it's like a hot sauce that has flavor versus just heat.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I got you. Well, first of all, why did you choose Bend?
I ran out of money here, quite honestly.
You what?
I ran out of money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I was traveling around the United States. I had, at one point, I thought I was going to become a professional snowboarder, wanted to go to Lake Tahoe, moved to Lake Tahoe, realized I was going to have to live with 11 other guys I didn't know, didn't really feel good about it.
Yeah.
So I had a friend of mine who lived in Eugene. He said, go check out this really small mountain town called Bend, Oregon. So when I went up there, we checked out Bend. I actually traveled around a couple of places in town, and ended up going to Seattle and Portland area. Still didn't want to really move into that type of area. So with that said, I ended up moving to Bend because I was down to my last $200. Originally born on the East Coast, and that's where I ended up over here. So since, you know, like I said, I never thought I would actually spend all my time here. I thought I would end up, you know, being here for 1 year for the ski year and leave. It just fell in love with Bend and never left. Ended up within that time, got a job at the Shoots. My friend was the head brewer at the Chutes, Mark Hennion, who's the head brewer for Nicosia now.
Yeah.
So that was, it was maybe a very lucky turn for me to run out of money.
Yeah. Not often you can say that, huh?
No.
Well, what led you to brewing as what you wanted to do with your life? I mean, what caused you to do that other than, I mean, you say you wanted to be a skier or a snowboarder or whatever.
Quite honest with you, you know, obviously home brewing is one thing, and it was just creativity standpoint. I think one of the best things about it was, as soon as I got into the brewery, this light went on. I liked the whole aspects. You know, I grew up in a blue-collar family. We used to work with my hands. So I like that aspect of what we do. You know, we work really hard with our hands. I also like the camaraderie that comes with brewing. You know, everybody works as a team, almost as a family. I love that part of it. I like being in the, you know, for a 26-year-old kid who didn't want to work in a brewery at that point. So that was also enticing. But for me, the biggest part about it was the creativity, being able to take something you have in your head and being able to improvise that into a beer. You know, I've always said I got a lot of things and flavor nuances going in my head. The biggest challenge for me is getting that to pervade into the beers. And it's always a fun challenge. I find myself, even today, being challenged by that to try to get what's in here into the glass. And then the best part about it then is putting it into a glass and watching the patrons come across the bar, try that glass and getting their opinions on it. The best thing about beer is people talk about it no matter if it's good or bad. And that's what I love about it. It's like, it's a common person's drink. It brings people of all classes together and all genders. And that's what I love about it. And it's fun. See, it's, you know, beer for most people is a reward. They have a long, hard day, you give them that reward. You know, and that's the best part about it. Beer is just, nobody has a beer because they have to. They have it because they want to.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I was obviously I worked with the Chutes for 14 and a half years, something like that. Put a lot of time in there. I've been there with them forever. When these guys, they came to me and asked me about, you know, joining their team, there were the plans that they wanted to open this facility, and they really kind of wanted to bring me on to kind of streamline their brewing processes, their raw material purchasing, and then build this facility for them. So I, you know, obviously I was pretty heavy-handed in all the implementation of all the equipment in here, design of this place, you know, having a war production in the front, cellaring in quarter way through, the next way down, packaging, and then, you know, finished goods out the back. So, you know, taking my experience, being through multiple expansions with the Chutes, helping, you know, with that Hoogan Brew House installation, doing a lot of that stuff. Obviously knew I had a lot of knowledge. So they came to me, offered me the position, and I told them no, I think about 4 times, 5 times. I told them no, no, no over again. And the guys were pretty persistent and wouldn't take no for an answer. And finally made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Because it's like, listen, I was really happy with the Chutes. The Chutes has been a wonderful company, helped me out a lot. I had a really great cushy position, doing what I really like to do with a lot of the R&D work for them and everything else, working on their specialty beers. So that was really exciting. So when they came, that was the reality of coming after me. When they went after Tanya and Sean, the idea of going after those two was then to bring that creativity and brand that they bring with them. Obviously, Tanya has a great brand.
Oh, yeah.
Best woman brewer in the United States, WBC Brewer of the Year, first woman ever to win that. All the awards that she's won. And then the same thing for Sean Kelso. Want to get multiple awards, all, you know, over 52 awards from the national, you know, NABAs and also the GABF. So, you know, want to be very accredited, but also creativity and brand. Yeah. You know, showing that we're ready to go to the next level and take all our brands to the next level. And that was part of a lot of the implementation that we put into here. The 10-barrel system going over there, the barrel room going in there, the sour room going in there, and a whole fleet of small tanks.
Really?
Just for experimentation and just for experimentation and playing, and then giving Sean that Boise pub just for that same reason, where we'll be supplying all our major sellers, and then just letting him doing that whole crafty side of things, going after his hop forward beers that he does so well.
Yeah.
And that was the idea. Basically, you know, it's almost like putting together the Miami Heat or the New York Yankees, bringing in a lot of superstar talent. The idea of obviously improving the brand, which we did with our Apocalypse, we just reformulated the whole recipe.
Yeah, I read about that.
We reformulated the whole recipe, really bringing that experience and trying to make our brands that much better, but then also giving our credibility to like, look, we're just not going to try to halfway do these things, we're going to go full bore. And then bringing in guys like Ben Shirley, who came over from the Chutes Brewery, super young guy, really super talented, lucky to get him on our team, energetic, hardworking, just, you know, a ball of sun almost, for a lack of a better word. Brings a great attitude to work every day.
Cool.
And then the Bobby Jacksons of the world, who's a lager brewery that we stole from Utah. They brought him in here, once again, just mechanically inclined, brewally inclined, just loves everything about beer, lives and dies beer. And that's the guys we look out for. We don't want guys that just want to do things halfway. We want guys who are super energetic, super positive about what they're doing, and realize the opportunity that they have here.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of applications every day for these guys' jobs, and I'll never trade any of these guys for anybody. I feel like, you know, we obviously, me, Tanya, and Sean will get a lot of the accreditation, but really our nuts and bolts are the Bobbies and the Bens of the world. They're the ones that make us who we are. The attention to detail that these guys have is not matched by anybody else.
They're like the sous chef.
They are.
Okay.
They are. Without them, we can't do it. I
Right.
mean, it really comes down to, like, we get a lot, like I said, a lot of the accolades, but they deserve just as much, if not more.
Cool.
Without them, we're nothing.
That's really nice of you to say that. Now, I have just a couple more questions.
Sure.
We'll get out of your hair. What are you guys' future plans now that you got the 50 barrel up running?
So obviously the 50 barrel is up and going. What we're doing is we're now 50% done this project with this building. So the next 25% is our packaging line, which we'll be building behind you guys. That packaging line is going to be coming in. It's going to allow us to do about 100 bottles per minute.
Wow.
It's going to allow us to really now switch into a 12-ounce package. So what you'll be seeing coming out here in about 3 weeks to a month now is a 12-ounce 10-barrel package coming out in six packs.
6 pack, nice.
So we're doing 6 packs, and we'll start doing our own 22s out of here, so we can have a lot more flexibility. The next part of the project then is decommissioning our old 10-barrel brew house.
Bringing it down here.
Bringing our 10-barrel brew house into there. So that's going to keep us, keep us pretty busy through May. And then for June, what we have on the docket is building that Boise pub, and trying to having that Boise pub open sometime in July.
Oh,
so that's
sweet.
kind of a really important thing for us too. Is Boise pub is going to be another big project for us to get done.
Oh, yeah.
We're pushing pretty hard. So within a 6-month period, we're going to put in 3 brew houses and a packaging line. So we're pretty bored these days. And then also, I guess one other thing I just want to throw out there. It's also, we're going to be launching our new summer season, which is going to be our Oregon Brown. That's coming out in 12-ounce and a 22-ounce package. And then we're also going to be working on our next season after that, which is a Cascadian Dark Ale. And then after that, we're going to be doing an Imperial version, probably of that Cascadian Dark Ale, that we're going to do specially aged, maybe maker mark barrels, something like that fashion, that we're going to release in November for the holiday season.
Nice.
So we have a lot of things coming out in the future. They're really trying to celebrate what we're doing.
Well, that kind of goes to my next question: is if you have any other plans on style? You guys ever plan on like going the sour route or?
So that's a beautiful thing. So obviously we have a little bit of souring that we're doing right now. I have 4 barrels going. One with 2 of them have lactobacillus in them. One has Brettanomyces lambicus in it. The other one has Brettanomyces bronchilensis in it. We have actually built a dedicated sour room that is actually made for souring. So part of the decommissioning of our old 10-barrel brew house is we're going to be bringing over 2 of those 40-barrel fermenters goes into the sour room, and the 40-barrel bright beer goes into that sour room. That's where we're going to be doing our, basically what I'm going to call the mothers of our sour beers. So we're going to do with Lambicus in one, Bruxellensis in the other one. The bright beer tank, we might do something off and on with it, but the idea is that's going to become like a packaging tank that will package directly out of the room, not into the brewery. And then on the other side of the cellar is going to be all wooden barrels. So then what we do is we're going to let the beer age in the stainless for a year, and then move half of that beer into the wood. Move that into wood. We then fruit all the beers in the wooden barrels, let it reside there for another 8 months to a year, top off the fermenter, and this way, once we get it going, it's going to allow us to put a sour beer out in a 22-ounce package or a 750 ml package every 4 months.
That's awesome.
So you're going to see a lot more stuff. And then the barrel aging room is going to be another big thing for us. Barrel aging room is going to be able to hold up to 390 wooden barrels, temperature controlled. Once again, it's going to allow us to put another lot of these nice packages out there, which is going to give a lot of one-offs. Our packaging line, one of the greatest things about it for us, it allows us to do 12s, 22s, and the 750 mils. So we're going to have 3 forms of packages coming out.
Very nice.
Each one with different price points, but also keep the creativity going.
Yeah.
The idea, like I said, the reason when we built this place, the whole idea was no excuses for the brewers anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that you don't have a room to age your barrels in. I don't want to hear you don't have a place to do sours. I don't want to hear you don't have a place for experimentation. The idea is to really push the gamut. We brought a lot of guys in They have a lot of talent. I want to use that talent as much as possible, and also further their skills too. Really turn them loose. Let them do what they want. Another part of it is we have a lab in place, so we're going to do a lot of lab testing, which is also going to allow us to like push the gamut and refine our beer process also.
Awesome. Okay, I got one more question for you, if you don't mind. What do you think about, I'm not sure if I worded this right, do you think Ben's ever going to reach beer saturation with all the breweries that we have and all the ones that are still coming on?
You know, that's a really great question. So, with competition comes better beer. And and that's why I like about it. We're forced to constantly reevaluate how our beers are. We look at them. We take other people's beers in the area, within Oregon, within the Northwest corridor, within the West Coast corridor, and look at how our beers are stacking up against them. And what I like about it, it forces everybody in town to bring their beers up to snuff. My feeling is, and of course I'm a little biased right now, that Ben's going to be the beer mecca of the United States. But we have the best quality beer because we're pushing each other pretty hard. For the most part of it, almost all of us have worked together at one point or another within this industry. So we all know each other really well. We all share things with each other. There isn't this combative atmosphere where we're trying to put it to each other. We're actually trying to work with each other and enhance each other's brands as fast as possible because we know we're all in this together. Yeah. In a way of beer saturation, there's only so many tap handles out there. What I love seeing though is the tap handles that are getting pulled off at the bars now are premium lager handles. They're going away and the craft beers are taking over. So that's really nice to see that also the barkeepers, the bartenders in town are also supporting us. And that's really huge for us to be able to all thrive. I believe 10 Barrel will be fine, you know, once again with the staff that we have and how we're pushing up beers, evaluating our stuff. It's just, once again, I love the idea that it makes everybody step the game up because, you know, all right beers might not be able to survive here. And that's great. You know, that's the way it should be. People should be always looking about how to make the product better. So, I'd be really interested to see how 22 breweries can hold up in this area. But if they do, you're going to have 22 great breweries. And that's the way it should be. You know, so I'm pretty excited by that.